Hey guys, for today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how to get over the end of a relationship. I'm sure all of us have been there, and we all know that it can be a pretty hard experience to get through. So I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I use to help me get over the end of a relationship, and I hope that it'll help you as well. So one of the first things I do is I'll forgive the other person. Because obviously, if the relationship is ending, then they may have done things that hurt you or stuff like that. They may have basically done you wrong. So you'll want to forgive them for that. You don't want to hold on to that anger or resentment, as it's heavy. It's going to affect only you, and they're going to be completely fine. So there's no point in holding on to any anger or resentment. So the first thing is to just forgive them. And one of the things that I like to do is to meditate and basically say something along the lines of, I forgive them and then send them love. And the whole sending them love part is just basically, it kind of cements in forgiving them, because you can't send love to someone if you still hate them. It's not going to work. So sending love is kind of just wishing them the best. And one thing you kind of have to realize, for the most part, I know not in every case will this be true, but if you were in a relationship with someone, then odds are there was something about them that you liked. So you chose them for a specific reason. So you probably still want them to be happy. But oftentimes there may be people who are bad and they just kind of manipulated you or portrayed themselves to be a certain way, and then you found out that they're not at all like that. In those cases, you don't really need to send them love. But for the cases where you actually like the person and things just kind of ended in a way that neither of you really wanted it to or expected it, or maybe due to logistics, well, in that case, then send them love, because you want them to be happy. It just didn't work out with you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then one of the main things that helped me get over old relationships is just realizing that oftentimes you may not necessarily miss the person, but rather what you did with them, the things you did or the way they made you feel. And when you realize that, you realize it wasn't really always about them per se. So you could actually get those feelings from other people. And if it's about the things you did, well, you can do those things on your own, or you can do them with other people in the future as well. So yet again, the person isn't all that important. Now, in some cases, you may run into someone who's a great partner and things just didn't work out for whatever reason, and that can really be devastating, because you knew that they were great and for whatever reason it just didn't work out. And in those cases, it's obviously not quite going to be about how they made you feel or the things you did together. It will be about the person themselves, because they were rare, they were different. And in those cases, what I've found that helps the most, and this will make a lot of sense to those of you who've been following me for a while, that practice more self-love. Who saw that coming? But yeah, self-love will help you get through it, because you need to learn to love who you are more and know your worth. So that way, when things end with a partner, especially a great partner, it'll allow you to heal without losing your self-esteem, because you'll still know that you have worth. It's just things didn't work out with that other person for whatever reason. But it has nothing to do with you. And that's the main realization that self-love will give you. Without self-love, we're prone to beating ourselves up and thinking that it was all our fault and that we have to change a whole lot, and the list goes on. But when you practice self-love, you won't do that to yourself anymore. You'll treat yourself better, and you'll know that, hey, there are two people in every relationship. So it's going to be a 50-50 type thing. And it's not always going to be all about you, nor will it be all about them. It's usually both of you contributed in some way to it ending. So with self-love, you're not going to go down that negative route of blaming yourself for everything. But also, when it comes to needing closure, this is a huge part. With self-love, you won't really need closure. And this has helped me out a ton in the past, because there have been situations where I didn't get any closure and I was just straight up ghosted, and that's no fun. And oftentimes when that kind of thing happens, it makes a lot of us want closure because we want to know what we did wrong or what we could have done better. But with self-love, you'll realize none of that matters. You realize that it's just a situation where if the other person ghosted you or did anything like that, where they're leaving you needing closure, then they probably weren't that great of a person. So when you practice self-love, you'll realize that, and you'll know that, hey, this person may have been a bit cowardly. And I mean, that's not really putting all the blame on them or anything like that, but it just helps you kind of realize that in some situations, you just have to know your own worth and know that you deserve someone who isn't going to leave you hanging like that. And self-love will help you get there. And basically, if you practice it enough, you may even get to a point where you won't need closure anymore, because when things end, you'll kind of just accept it, because you can't usually change it unless it was due to logistics or something like that, and say the person's moving away or something. But it'll allow you to come to terms with the situation without trying to rationalize it in your head. You'll just accept it for what happened and then move on. You'll know that you'll be able to find other people out there, and potentially even people who are better for you. And you'll know your worth, so you'll know that you deserve them, and you'll be able to attract those people into your life. So basically, yet again, for those of you who've been following me for a while, self-love is the key. It helps with a lot of things. So learn to practice it. And I'll make a few more videos in the future delving deeper into self-love, because I realize it's just such a huge topic. But anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.